Today we're gonna take a classic appetizer, which I like to eat as a main dish sometimes, and we're gonna put a little twist on it because we're gonna be making smoked bacon wrapped salsa poppers. Yeah, salsa poppers. We're gonna stuff jalapenos with a salsa cream cheese mixture, wrap them in bacon, and smoke them out on the Weber kettle. So let's get our filling made. What I have here is 8 ounces of cream cheese. It's been sitting out for about 20 minutes to soften up a bit. And to this, we're gonna add 12 ounces of a restaurant-style salsa that I drained. I put it in a strainer and I let most of the liquid drain out over about 20 minutes. So we're gonna get these two together and we're gonna mix. It's gonna take a while here. This is fairly similar to a party dip you might have made for tortilla chips, dumping a jar of salsa over a thing of cream cheese. We're just gonna mix them all together. And we just wanted to get some of that extra liquid out of the salsa. If you really wanted this smooth and creamy, you could run it through a blender or a food processor. I want it a little chunky. All right, that's about what we want. Let's move on to getting our jalapenos ready. So what I've got here are a few jalapenos. There's more off to the side, but I want to show you how we're going to get these ready. So let me move these here and we're going to start with this one. The first thing you want to do is go down to the end that's opposite the stem, and we're leaving the stems on, and you want that sort of curly part of the stem aiming up. And then what we're going to do is down here, maybe about 3/4 of an inch to an inch from the end, just make a slice not quite halfway through the jalapeno. Then we're going to go ahead and at the corners of that slice, we're going to slide our knife through, just like that. And then make sure you have connected with that slice at the end there. Then, being careful, don't cut yourself, we're going to come back towards the stem and cut the top of the jalapeno off. That's what we're going to have, the top of the jalapeno separated from the body of the jalapeno. So we're going to set that aside for a second. Then to make things a little cleaner, you might want to get a little dish. And we're going to take just a regular table knife and we're going to start scraping out the insides. Now you may need to use a little spoon also. You may need to use the sharper knife to cut some of these ribs. But the idea is to clean out as much of the seeds and everything inside that you can. And just scrape it into your dish. Got a little spoon here and I can go right down in here and scrape some of those ribs away. Kind of turn it over, knock everybody out of there. If a couple seeds slip through the process, it's not gonna hurt anybody. That one's looking pretty good. You wanna do the same to the top that we took off. Just sort of scrape it down, get any of those seeds and ribs off there. So you end up with a clean piece like that. Because once we fill this jalapeno, we are going to put our top back on and wrap it with bacon. So that's what we're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these jalapenos cleaned up, and then we'll get on to stuffing them. All right, so we have 2 of our jalapenos that we've cleaned out. We have the little tops here for these little, kind of like jalapeno canoes. So I'm just going to set the tops aside here. And let's start with this one. We'll fill this one first. I'm just going to start by taking a spoonful of our cream cheese salsa mixture and pushing it down in there. Take your time, and if it gets a little messy, don't worry. You're going to put the lid on. It's going to be wrapped in bacon. No one's going to see the mess. They're also going to be too busy eating it. And you just want to overfill it slightly so that that space in the lid can fit right on it. Just a little extra there so it's a little bit of a bulge. And we're going to take our lid, put it on there. So it's like that. Now we're going to wrap it in some bacon. Now I'm using thick cut bacon because I want this to have the time out on the kettle to cook and let this jalapeno soften a little bit, let that cheese inside melt a bit. And if you use thin bacon, it might cook too quickly and the bacon could burn, so I'm using thick cut. And we're just going to start down here near the end. And we're going to wrap. And you want to stretch it as far as you can, but you're not going to get the whole way probably, and that's fine. Just like that. And we're going to take a toothpick and we're going to run it through wherever the end of that is, that little tail to hold it. So it looks just like that. Let me do another one. We're gonna fill this up with a generous amount. Push it down there into the nose of the jalapeno. Overfill it slightly. Take your lid, get your lid on there, get a piece of bacon, and start wrapping. And then once that bacon's wrapped around as far as you can get it, get your toothpick, find the end, and stick it through, pin it in place. And if that pokes through the bottom a little bit, don't worry. These are gonna be sitting on the grate on the kettle, so that little end of the toothpick will be able to sit there. So there are our first two. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these filled and wrapped up, and then we're gonna put a little bit of sauce on the outside. All right, so we have 9 bacon-wrapped salsa poppers here. And what I wanna do is I want to brush some barbecue sauce on the outside, just a little bit. I'm gonna be using a Bob's Smoking Southern Barbecue sauce. Just wanna give them a little bit of a glaze. Doesn't have to go all the way around, mostly on the top and sides. This just gives it a nice little extra bit of flavor. All right, our bacon-wrapped salsa poppers are sauced up. Let's get them out to the Weber kettle. All right, the kettle is at 242. I'm shooting for a temp somewhere between 250 and 300 today. It's gonna range in there, and as soon as we get the lid off, that temperature is gonna shoot up with all that oxygen flowing in. So let's go ahead and get these bacon-wrapped salsa poppers on. So today I have the kettle set up with 1 briquette basket. I have the Mallory cast iron grate in there with one of the wings removed. We don't need it, and it allows good access to that briquette basket. So let's go ahead and get these poppers on. I wanna go ahead and spray some canola oil on the cool side of the grill here, just where these poppers are gonna go. I am just gonna start placing them. And we will rotate these after about 20 minutes so that the ones in the back get up to the front. All right, I wanna put a little bit of hickory wood on here for some smoke flavor today with that bacon. All right, our hickory is catching. I'm gonna go ahead, get the lid on. We're gonna smoke up these bacon-wrapped salsa poppers. My bottom vent today is in the 2/3 open position, and my top vent is fully open today. As I said, we'll be rotating the position of these poppers in a while. The total cook time today is really just gonna be by kind of eyeball, looking when that bacon is just about done. I'm guessing it's gonna be somewhere in the 30 to 45 minute range, but we'll see. It's done when it's done. I'll see you in a little while. All right, we've been going for about 20 minutes here. Want to give these a check, and we're gonna rotate them. Kettle temp's been holding good, right around 260-ish. Let's check our poppers. Those are looking pretty good. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just going to shift their positions. I'm gonna move some of these back guys up to the front. If I don't forget which ones I moved. I can already see some of that cream cheese leaking out. Nothing wrong with that. All right, we're gonna get our lid back on, and I'm thinking about probably 20-25 minutes, we may be close to done. All right, we've been going for a total of just about 43 minutes, I think. So 20 and 23. So let's give these a look. Oh, those look good. You can see how the skin is starting to wrinkle on the nose of these jalapenos, so we just want them heated through. We're not trying to char these like peppers. And that bacon's looking good. If you want it crispier, you can go longer, but people who watch enough of my videos know that I like my bacon cooked to AFS, acceptable floppy state. This is probably a little bit beyond that, but that's all right. So we're gonna go ahead and get these off, get them inside, and have a taste. All right, I have got 3 of our bacon-wrapped salsa poppers here. First thing I want to do is I want to get the toothpicks out and just twist them and pull them. They should come out fairly easily. And then I just want to cut one of these in half. I know that's not normally the way you'd eat it, but I kind of want to see the inside. So let's cut one in half first. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice. That cream cheese is nice and melty there. Oh man, the smell of these is just killing me right now. That means it's time to taste. Now I'm keeping my gloves on for this taste test because of the jalapeno juice and everything that can get on the hands. And I've had a burn before where you have it on your hands, you touch your eye, just not a good place to be. So if you're working with jalapenos and you got gloves, use them. So I'm gonna go for a taste here of a full one. I just wanna get a good bite in here, let's see. Oh yeah, that's a little messy. The jalapenos are not softened like they would be if you charred them. They still have a little bit of a bite, but they're not as hard as they'd be if you hadn't done anything to them. And that's really nice because it helps maintain the structure of these. You know, it's not bending over like it's totally floppy. This is really good. Perfect amount of heat in these. Sometimes you'll get jalapenos that are a lot hotter than others. Got lucky this time. Has just enough heat, not overpowering. The salsa in there is mild. You could really punch this up by putting a hotter salsa in that cream cheese mixture. Just a great combination here. Right down to the stem, that's what you want to do. That's why we leave the stems on. And of course I have the one that I cut in half. I can't not pay some attention to that, so let me get a taste of that one too. I wonder if it'll taste any different. No, it doesn't taste any different. It's exactly as good as the other one. Man, these are awesome. So if you like jalapeno poppers and you've never done them on the grill, give it a try. You don't only have to deep fry them or do them in the oven. You can wrap them in bacon, stuff them with what you want, and you're gonna have an amazing snack, meal, whatever you want to call this. This is killer.